Good evening, dear professor, dear colleagues. Welcome to our scientific lecture, Feeling the Research on Unveiling the Layers of Effective Research Design. It's a true privilege to have you all with us today for this enlightening session where we will explore the sophisticated layers that form the foundations of effective research design. We are honored to welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Bouchaib Benzehaf, a professor of applied linguistics at Bouchaib University in Morocco. His wealth of knowledge and insights will significantly enrich our understanding of the complexities in research methodology. I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Marwan Thakran, Dr. Sofia Sekasas, Dr. Abdelkader Ntouati, and Professor Yassine Jamal Idrisi for their efforts and support to make such successful lectures within the academy. A warm greeting also goes to our researchers and attendees joining us via various platforms. We are delighted to have you here, and I would like to remind you, everyone, that attendance certificates will be awarded to all participants. Throughout this session, I encourage you to actively engage in the discussion by sharing your questions and comments in the live chat. We will also provide a link for attendance confirmation during the event. Let us embark on this insightful journey together as we peel back to the layers of effective research design. It's my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest, Dr. Bouchaib Benzehaf, the head of the Department of English Studies at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities at Bouchaib University. He is a didactic researcher and at the same university, El Jadida. He earned his doctorate in second and foreign language learning from the same institution, where he now actively contributes to the field through the Applied Language and Cultural Studies Lab. As a founding member and Secretary General of the local branch of the Moroccan Teachers of English (MEET) in El Jadida, Dr. Benzehaf has made significant studies in promoting English language education in Morocco. His research interests encompass language acquisition, multilingualism, and assessment, and areas in which he has published extensively. To date, he has authored over 20 articles in national and international journals, reflecting a strong commitment to advancing knowledge in applied linguistics. Dr. Benzehaf's work has not only granted recognition through numerous citations, but has also contributed to important discussions in the field. His notable publications include studies on high school students' perceptions of language learning, the role of multilingualism in identity construction, and the efficacy of assessment practices in education. His insights have been shared at various national and international conferences, further establishing him as a respected voice in applied linguistics. We are truly fortunate to have Dr. Benzehaf with us today, and I am confident that his expertise will illuminate our understanding of effective research design. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Bouchaib Benzehaf. We look forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor Ahmed. The pleasure is mine. And let me just start with with correcting something that went through. I have more than 30 articles, not 20. And I consider my knowledge modest compared to true experts. So the pleasure is mine. And the presentation is titled Peeling the Research Onion, Unveiling the Layers of Effective Research Design. And I think the first question that we can start with is why choose the research onion to lecture about? Is it worthwhile lecturing about the research onion? My own perspective is yes, because this model, the research onion, is a framework or is a model that offers a holistic approach to research design, covering every stage from philosophical assumptions to data collection methods. So it's a comprehensive framework that can help students understand the various components of research design and how these components interconnect, leading to what we may term methodological fit or methodological alignment. So by guiding the students through the various layers of the research onion, or we can encourage these students' critical thinking about how their research philosophy aligns with their methods and the overall research strategy. This is key to producing coherent and logically sound research. Well, following is an outline of this lecture. We will start with the basics, defining the research, and then we will move to the research onion. We will unveil its different layers. We will go layer by layer, and then we will speak about methodological fit among all these layers. Then we will move to challenges and tips, challenges that can face researchers and how to solve these challenges. Then we will compare this framework with other research models, and we will speak about its limitations, given that no framework is perfect. Last but not least, we will end with an overview of Moroccan research, particularly in light of the research onion. We will speak about Moroccan research opportunities and challenges, conclusion, references, and further reading. Well, the research onion. So this is a research, this is an onion. The onion, or the research onion, is a metaphor for what we need to do to develop and plan our research carefully. So the research onion implies that we have research questions, because research in the first place is finding answers to two questions or two problems. So what is research? Research has been defined as a process of steps used to collect and analyze information to increase our understanding of a topic or issue. This was given by Cresswell, 2014. Research has also been defined as a systematic investigation that focuses on quantifying relationships, measuring variables, and analyzing numerical data to test theories or hypotheses. Newman, 2014. Research has also been defined as a process of finding answers to questions through the application of scientific methods. Saunders et al. 2019, and I emphasize scientific methods, and I'll move to it in a moment. So from these definitions, we can agree that research is a form of problem-solving activity. It's a problem-solving activity. It involves asking questions, gathering data, analyzing findings, and drawing conclusions. For example, in academic research, you might study the effects of social media on communication skills by conducting surveys and analyzing the responses to understand patterns. So the ultimate aim of research is to generate knowledge, to validate existing knowledge, or test old knowledge. Good. So one of the definitions of research focuses on use of scientific method. What does the scientific method mean? The scientific method is a structured approach to inquiry that is characterized by the formulation of hypotheses, testing through experimentation, and the analysis of the results to arrive at evidence-based conclusions. The scientific method is taken from natural sciences. So it can be summarized or summed up as observing, hypothesizing, experimenting, and theorizing, ending with rules. A question that may be in order is, are there any other methods beside research that we can use to generate knowledge? The answer is yes, there are other methods. These methods rely on tradition, on custom, for example, community practices, personal experience. We can rely on our own experience, our own intuition, logic, and or authority to arrive at conclusions. But what's the difference between these methods and research? Well, these methods first may provide useful insights or guidance in certain areas, but they are not as reliable as methods that involve empirical data and rigorous testing. So research is rigid compared with these methods. It's structured, it's logical, and it's scientific. So research is superior to these methods. A question now. Does all research rely on the scientific method? The answer is no, because much qualitative research takes an exploratory or interpretive approach, focusing on understanding complex phenomena, meanings, and experiences, prioritizing depth over generalizability, and employing for that aim methods like interviews, which are not bound by the rigid systematic procedures of the scientific method. Okay. What is the research onion now, developed by Saunders, Lewis, and Thornhill? The research onion has been defined as a detailed and organized framework to help researchers through the various phases of conducting a research project. The layers, it has different layers, and these layers symbolize different aspects of research methodology, beginning with the outer layer of research philosophy and progressing inward through research approaches, strategies, choices, timeframes, techniques, and procedures. When was it developed? It was first developed in 2000. The first edition, it was developed in Saunders and colleagues' first edition of their book, Research Methods for Business Students, but gained wider recognition in later editions, particularly in the third edition in 2003, where the framework was more fully developed and elaborated. But Saunders and colleagues kept updating this framework, and the last update was in 2023. Which witnessed the integration of digital tools and data analytics in the research, emphasizing the importance of incorporating advanced technologies to enhance data collection, analysis, and interpretation. Following are the layers of Saunders' research onion. So the onion is made up of 6 layers, which you'll need to peel back one at a time as you develop your research methodology. These layers are research philosophy, research approach, research strategy, choices, time horizon, techniques, and procedures. These layers are illustrated in the following figure with more details. By the way, I got Professor Saunders' permission to produce the research onion. He thankfully granted to me. So we will peel these layers one by one. These layers, in fact, symbolize the different decisions that we need to make when developing a research project. So layer 1, research philosophy, ontology, and epistemology. Let me start by saying that philosophy developed in such a way that 2 fundamental questions lie at its heart. Question 1, what is the nature of whatever it is that exists? And how, if at all, can we know what we know? Investigation into the first question about what exists and the nature of existence constitutes the branch of philosophy known as ontology. Investigation into the second question about the nature of knowledge and what, if anything, we can know is called epistemology. So ontology is about reality or the nature of reality. Epistemology is about knowledge. How do we obtain knowledge of this reality? So the research onion addresses the concepts of ontology and epistemology within the outermost layer because they are central to shaping the researcher's approach and subsequent decisions in research design. So, underlying every research that we do is our own assumptions about ontology and epistemology. We will get to more detail about this. So, research philosophy, we have positivism, interpretivism, critical realism, pragmatism, and postmodernism. Of course, there are other philosophies like structuralism, post-structuralism, feminism, but we will content ourselves with these. So positivism aligns with the natural sciences. According to positivism, there's only one reality that is objective and that is measurable. Moving to interpretivism, reality is subjective and multiple. Different people, different realities. Interpretivism focuses on understanding the meanings individuals or groups assigned to social phenomena. So positivism, existence of one objective reality out there that can be accessed by anyone. Interpretivism, multiple realities. Different people can have different knowledges based on their perceptions and experiences. Now we move to critical realism. In critical realism, reality, like in positivism, exists independently of human perceptions, but our understanding of it is shaped by social conditioning. So our understanding of reality here is limited due to our own perceptions, due to human factors. Our own understanding of it is imperfect. Regarding pragmatism, pragmatism focuses on the practical application of research and solving real-world problems. So pragmatism prioritizes solving real-world problems, and therefore here reality can be viewed as single or as multiple, depending on the context. Postmodernism challenges universal truths, stressing the fragmented, fluid, and constructed nature of reality. So this is the first layer. Now we move to the next layer, research approach. We have three approaches: deductive, inductive, and abductive. Deductive starts with the theory and tests hypotheses. It's associated with quantitative research. Example, testing leadership theories. Deductive is theory testing. We start with rules, and then we move to the data and check whether those data or that data conform with the theory or not. Inductive, here we start with data and we generate theories. So the inductive approach builds theories from observed data. The inductive approach is associated with qualitative theories. Example, exploring employee experiences. I repeat, deductive is theory testing. Inductive is theory building. Now, abductive combines the two. It combines elements of both, moving between theory and data to refine understanding iteratively. Example, observing a group of people with high job satisfaction levels despite low salaries. So we start with observing, which is qualitative, and then we investigate cultural or psychological factors as potential explanation. So the abductive bridges the two by starting with an unexpected observation, developing a tentative explanation, gathering more data to refine the explanation. The observation here is inductive. The observation in this example is inductive. The subsequent investigation is abductive as it involves iteratively exploring and testing plausible explanations for the observed phenomenon. This iterative aspect is what distinguishes the abductive approach. So this was about layer 2. We move to layer 3, methodological choices, and we have 3 options: quantitative, associated with numerical data; qualitative, associated with exploring themes and meanings; and mixed methods, which combines both approaches. How can we decide? The decision factor is research objectives and questions. What does that mean? The aim of the study and the nature of our research questions determine which approach to adopt: quantitative, qualitative, or mixed methods. So quantitative methods are ideal if the aim is to produce generalizable findings. Qualitative methods are preferred if the goal is to gain deep insight or interpret social phenomena. Mixed methods are suitable if the aim requires statistical testing and a deeper understanding of contextual factors. The research questions shape the choice of methodology by indicating whether numerical measurement, deep understanding, or both are required. This alignment ensures that the chosen method effectively addresses the study's goals. Still with methodological choices, the quantitative approach is associated with numbers. And in this approach, we produce charts and graphs. The quantitative approach tends to be about counting and measuring things, numerical data. The qualitative approach uses words, thoughts, and images to show things which aren't easily quantifiable. The mixed methods integrates data from both to provide a richer analysis, allowing for cross-validation, triangulation. This is, by the way, a very important concept in research. Triangulation means cross-checking, that is verifying qualitative data using quantitative data. Triangulation, again, means cross-checking findings using different methods. That is, here you look at the topic from different angles, thereby enhancing the validity and reliability of the study. Methodological choices. So quantitative approach is associated with the positivist paradigm. Here we speak about methodological fit. So going back to layer 1, positivism. Now layer 3, what goes with the positivist paradigm is the quantitative approach. Quantitative researchers operate under the assumption of objectivity, the existence of one objective reality that is measurable and that could be observed by anyone who is doing research in a rigid way. Quantitative researchers assume that there is a reality to be observed and that rational observers who look at the same phenomenon will basically agree on its existence and its characteristics. So for them, there is one reality to be accessed by different people. These quantitative researchers try to remain as neutral or value-free as they can, and they attempt to avoid human bias whenever possible. In a sense, quantitative researchers attempt to study the phenomena that are of interest to them from a distance. What about the qualitative approach? This is associated with the interpretivist paradigm. Qualitative researchers operate under the assumption of subjectivity, assuming reality to be socially constructed and therefore multiple. Assuming also that reality vary based on individual experiences, contexts, and cultures. That is, different people can have different realities. These researchers believe that there are multiple realities that are shaped by people's perceptions and interpretations. So in this type of research, the researcher is an instrument of data collection and is deeply involved in interpreting the data. So the researcher's values, perspectives, and biases are acknowledged as part of the research process. Subjectivity is not considered a limitation, but rather an integral part of understanding the richness, depth of human experiences. Mixed methods. Well, mixed methods is associated with the pragmatist paradigm. It integrates quantitative experiments, surveys, with qualitative focus groups, interviews, research. This blend, as we said previously, can help the study gain validity and reliability because there is the concept of triangulation here. This blend helps the researcher gain in breadth and depth. Breadth, this is associated with the quantitative approach. Depth, this is associated with the qualitative approach. So this then can help the researcher gain in breadth and depth of understanding and corroboration while offsetting the weaknesses inherent in using each approach by itself. So this is another advantage of mixed methods. The weaknesses inherent in the quantitative approach is compensated for by the strengths inherent in the qualitative approach and vice versa. This mixed methods is used when this integration provides a better understanding of the research problem than either of each alone. One of the most advantageous characteristics of mixed methods of research is the possibility of triangulation, that is using several methods to examine the same phenomenon. Still with layer 3, we have mono, multiple, and mixed method. Mono method, for those who will go back to the research onion, this is mono qualitative method or mono quantitative method. Meaning that one data collection technique is used, either quantitative or qualitative. Then we have multiple methods, more than one data collection technique within a single research approach is used. That is, we use, for example, adopting the quantitative approach, we may use questionnaires and observation. Adopting the qualitative approach, we may use focus group discussion and interviews. Let me just go back to observation and say one word about it. Observation is or can be both quantitative and qualitative, depending on how we make use of it. Because observation is two types, structured observation and unstructured observation. Structured observation is the type of observation that uses a checklist. This is quantitative. Unstructured observation is the type of observation that does not use any checklist. This is qualitative. So when we say multiple quantitative methods and we use observation, we mean structured observation with questionnaires. And then we have mixed methods, simple, and mixed methods, complex. Mixed methods, simple, both methods are used in a straightforward manner, either concurrently at the same time or sequentially, one after the other. Explanatory, we have explanatory sequential or sequential explanatory and sequential exploratory. Well, sequential explanatory, we start with the qualitative data and then we move to the quantitative data, the aim of which is to explain the quantitative data. Sequential exploratory, the order is reversed and the function of the quantitative data is to validate the qualitative data. Now, mixed methods complex, here multiple layers of integration between qualitative and quantitative methods. Here, we speak about embedded designs. Embedded design, one method is embedded within the other. Example, collecting qualitative data within a primarily quantitative study. So embedded design. And we have iterative or multi-phase design, multiple phases of research, where each phase informs the next, often combining both methods throughout. Okay, a question. Does philosophy dictate the research approach? For example, if I'm positivist, will this dictate which approach to take? If I'm positivist, I will take the quantitative approach. If I'm interpretivist, I will adopt the qualitative approach. Well, the answer to this question is partly yes, partly no. Partly yes, because our philosophical assumptions guide the way we view the world, the nature of reality, and how knowledge is acquired. Partly now, because the nature of the research topic, the nature of the research questions dictate which approach to take. So the nature of the research topic also plays a crucial role, as it may demand certain methodological or philosophical approaches to address it effectively. So our own, I repeat, our own assumptions often shape the questions we ask, the methods we choose to investigate the topic, and the way we interpret findings. For example, if we hold positivist assumptions, we may prioritize quantitative methods to uncover objective truths. If we adopt a constructivist stance or an interpretivist perspective, we might use qualitative methods to explore multiple perspectives and meanings. But topics involving measurable phenomena lend themselves to quantitative methods. Topics focusing on subjective experiences align with constructivist philosophies. There are also complex topics that lend themselves to a blend of methods. So, going back to the question, does philosophy dictate the research approach? The answer is yes. Our philosophical assumptions guide how we view the world and how we approach research. But the nature of our research questions also dictate which approach to adopt. Meaning that there is an interaction between philosophy and the nature of the topic. Now we move to layer 4, research strategies. By research strategies, we mean overall approaches or plans that researchers use to conduct investigations and collect data in order to answer specific research questions. Examples of these research strategies are case study, which involves in-depth exploration of one person or of a group of people or of an organization. Experiments, which involve testing variables in controlled conditions. Survey, which are about, survey by survey, we particularly mean questionnaires. So these involve broad data collection. And interviews, which are associated with thick description. The word thick means that we don't only capture the word, but also the nuances of how the words, of how interviewees' words are expressed, including the tone, including body language, cultural references, and the broader context in which the interview occurs. So in research, thick description helps provide depth and ensures findings are deeply rooted in the context of the study. Still with layer 4, research strategy, quantitative research. The types of quantitative research that we have are surveys, which measure opinions, behaviors, attitudes. Exploratory, which explores, the type of research that explores but does not offer final and conclusive solutions. We usually go for exploratory research when the topic is still that is virgin, still that is the topic is not yet researched. Correlational, this type of research establishes a relationship between two or more variables and determines how one impacts the other. And let me describe correlational research as weak research design because it does not provide us with an idea about causality. It just tells you whether one variable is associated with another variable or not, but it doesn't go to the extent of determining causation. Experimental, this is the most scientific of quantitative research because it establishes cause-effect relationship among a group of variables. Sometimes we cannot do experimental studies because of ethical issues. For example, if we want to test the impact of smoking on health, we cannot involve a group of participants in, that is, we cannot ask them to smoke for a period of time. So here, ethically speaking, this is not acceptable. So here we move to causal comparative research. Causal comparative research examines potential causes for observed
Sorry, it seems that we have a technical problem. Let's wait our professor to get back to the platform and we will continue the lecture. Just a few minutes. And okay, just a few minutes and we will continue the lecture. Now it's good. Welcome back, dear professor.
Thank you. Well, sorry for this technical problem. So, which slide was that? Where did we stop?
We're talking about strategies.
Research strategy, yes. This is not. Sorry, this is not the lecture that should be.
Yeah, it's not the presentation.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, please. The other version.
You can share the other version.
Yeah, where is the other version? It's not this one.
It's not there.
Good. So we were here. So I said that experimental research is the most scientific quantitative research, and causal comparative. Causal comparative involves observing a group of people in their natural setting and concluding or drawing conclusions about causality. In quantitative research, the sample size has to be big in order to enhance generalizability, increase statistical power, and capture population diversity. Quantitative studies, by the way, balance the need for a large sample size with the practicalities of data collection and analysis. Well, research strategy, qualitative research. So we spoke about the types of quantitative research. Now the types of qualitative research. We can identify ethnography, which focuses on the context or the culture. Ethnographers immerse themselves in a culture, observe, sometimes also interview and document. Narrative, the focus here is on individual experiences and sequence. So narrative qualitative research tries to build the narrative, tries to build the story from experience, stories from individuals and documents. Usually the sample size is 1 or 2. Phenomenological, here people describe a phenomenon that they experience it. And this can be done through interviews. Grounded theory, as the name implies, this is about generating theories from data. So it's theory or developing theory grounded in field data. The sample size is usually 20 to 60. Interviews, then open and axial coding. Open coding refers to the initial interpretive process by which raw research data are first systematically analyzed and categorized. Axial coding is a research technique that involves relating data together in order to reveal codes, categories, and subcategories within collected data. In other words, axial coding is one way to construct linkages between data. Then case study. Case study is focused on studying one organization, one entity, one individual, or a group of individuals or event. The data collection tool here is interviews, documents, reports, and observations. By observations, we mean, of course, unstructured observation. We move to the next layer, which is time horizon. Well, time horizon refers to the time frame within which the research is conducted. There are 2 primary types of time horizons, cross-sectional and longitudinal. While cross-sectional research offers efficiency and practicality, longitudinal research provides richer insights into changes and trends. The choice, of course, depends on the research objectives, the nature of the problem, and practical constraints. So to give an example, cross-sectional, a researcher might study the development of writing skills among university students from S1 to S5. For efficiency, what the researcher does is recruit a group of S1 students, a group of S2 students, a group of S3 students, a group of S4 students, and a group of S5 students. On the other hand, in longitudinal research, to study the same topic, the development of writing skills among university students, you start with a group of S1 students and you continue with them until they reach S5. So longitudinal is long, cross-sectional is short, practical, longitudinal is long, but it provides us with accurate data, with accurate information about the developments, because we track the same group and not different groups. So while cross-sectional research offers efficiency and practicality, longitudinal research provides richer insights into changes and trends. Now, layer 6, data collection and analysis. Well, data collection and analysis, these are different according to the approach. So quantitative methods, quantitative data collection methods are surveys, experiments, observations, structured observations, tests. Data analysis, descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. Qualitative data collection techniques, interviews, focus groups, observations, and structured observations, documents. Data analysis, thematic analysis, grounded theory coding, narrative analysis, and content analysis. So now we are done with the layers of the research onion. We move to methodological fit. What does methodological fit mean? And let me start by saying that effective research design is one that observes methodological fit. Methodological fit means alignment among the different layers of the research onion, ensuring coherence, consistency, and alignment among the components of the research process. A design with strong methodological fit is more likely to produce valid and credible results because all the components work together to address the research question. So the philosophical stance, the approach, quantitative or qualitative, the approach to theory, that is abductive or deductive, inductive, deductive, abductive, methods, quantitative or qualitative, strategies, what type of quantitative, what type of qualitative, time horizon, cross-sectional or longitudinal, data collection techniques, and analysis, all should align logically. Example of effective research design with methodological fit. Research question: what factors influence first-year university students' adaptation to online learning? The philosophy is interpretivism. The approach is inductive. The methodological choice is qualitative. The strategy is case study. The time horizon is cross-sectional. And the data collection is interviews. When looking at these, will make us know that all these components or aspects or decisions are well aligned. They go together. Observing methodological fit. Methodological fit, an example. This is again produced with Professor Saunders' permission. Well, what does this show? We have to look at the line in red. It starts with positivism, then goes to deductive, then goes to quantitative, then survey, then quantitatively based data collection tool like questionnaires. So a progression of choices that align well will lead, well, if you look at the line, it's not straight. You can't draw a straight line across the onion and achieve methodological fit. So the line here is curved. Another example, let's look at the line in blue. We have interpretivism, deduction, qualitative approach, grounded theory, and qualitatively based data collection tool. Methodological fit or misfit, we look at a hypothetical abstract. I want the audience to read the abstract and decide if there is methodological fit or methodological misfit. So about 20 seconds, and we'll comment on the abstract. So this abstract starts with investigating the impact. The word impact suggests that the approach is quantitative and that the philosophy is positivist, and that the data collection tool should be questionnaires. But what we have here is semi-structured interviews and thematic coding. And then we have digital storytelling, which is qualitative. And then the two words significantly enhances, which suggest quantitative approach. So this abstract illustrates or is an example of methodological misfit. For better illustration, the words in blue are associated with the quantitative approach. The words in red are associated with the qualitative approach. So this abstract again illustrates a methodological misfit where the stated research philosophy, positivism, contradicts the chosen methods, qualitative interviews, and thematic coding. Such inconsistencies can undermine the credibility of the research and its findings. Well, how can we improve this abstract? Well, this is an example. So this abstract highlights an exploratory nature of the study. The philosophy is interpretivism, which emphasizes understanding students' experiences and perceptions. So again, instead of stating significantly enhances a claim typically associated with the quantitative approach, the conclusion reflects qualitative insights about fostering critical thinking. By making these adjustments, the research philosophy, methods, and conclusions are now consistent and well aligned. A second option, we can render this abstract as follows, opting for mixed methods. So the words in blue are associated with the quantitative approach, positivist paradigm. Those in red are associated with the interpretivist paradigm, qualitative approach. So a post-positivist philosophy here, one reality, but post-positivism, by the way, is different from positivism by criticizing the reality, by saying that reality is imperfectly knowable. So a post-positivist philosophy, which implies the existence of one reality, but one reality that is imperfectly knowable due to human limitations and complexity of phenomena. This post-positivist philosophy balances quantitative rigor with qualitative depth. This revised abstract uses the mixed methods design to confidently claim impact while also exploring the underlying processes and experiences, providing a balanced and rigorous approach. I hope that things are clear so far. Well, validity and reliability in the research onion. Focus on validity and reliability in the research onion is not explicit, but the concepts are typically considered within specific layers or decisions made during the research process. The research onion seems to ignore them because it focuses on the process and it treats them implicitly. Validity and reliability, by the way, are integral to the decisions made at various layers of the model. Researchers must consciously address these issues within the context of their methodological choices. Validity and reliability is applied differently to qualitative research. In quantitative research, we speak about construct validity, content validity, face validity, other types of validity. And reliability, we speak about test-retest reliability, and intra-rater reliability. But in qualitative research, we speak about other concepts like dependability, trustworthiness, transferability, concepts which are also very important in research and which ensure rigidity of the study. So the research onion emphasizes stages, as I said, and this happens to the detriment of these two concepts, probably. Validity and reliability, anyhow, should be observed in the different layers of the research onion. Now, to some of the challenges and pieces of advice regarding how to meet these challenges. Well, challenge number one, sometimes a researcher may misalign their research philosophy with methodology, and this leads to inconsistencies. How to avoid this? We should start with a reflective exercise. What do I believe about reality, ontology, and how do I know what I know, epistemology? This way we can make sure that we align our research philosophy with our methodology. Number two, challenge two, selected methods that don't align with research questions or objectives. And this usually happens to novice researchers. Well, tip, introduce a decision tree linking research questions to suitable methods. By the way, quantitative research questions are phrased differently from qualitative research questions. For example, in quantitative research questions, we can have why, because why implies causality. But we cannot have why questions in qualitative research because qualitative research is never about causality. Except if the why probably aims to explore a concept or aims to explore factors behind a particular phenomenon. Usually, to what extent? Same thing applies to what extent. To what extent is a quantitative research question because it implies numbers, the extent to which something happens. But if to what extent is about the depth, we can, in this way, we can also ask a question starting with to what extent in qualitative research. So what, how are usually, that is qualitative research questions usually start with what and how. Quantitative research questions usually start with to what extent and why. Challenge number three, collecting data without a clear analysis strategy. And this leads to incomplete or irrelevant results. Tip, we should always plan for analysis during the research design. So while describing your method, don't just describe the data collection method, but also the data analysis method. And choose tools and software that align with data type. Pilot test your data collection instruments for validity and reliability. Challenge 4, confusion about integrating quantitative and qualitative methods effectively. Tip, emphasize that mixed methods require a clear rationale, such as triangulation or complementarity. And try to integrate data the way it should be integrated, in a rigid way. Now, I think that we are done with the Saunders research model, and we would love to compare it with other research models. So other research models, or some of the other research models, We have grounded theory developed by Glaser and Strauss in 1967. This is used to generate theories grounded in data collection from participants. It's theory developed from the data. And of course, here the data should be big. Next, we have ethnographic research model associated with Malinowski, 1922. This focuses on the immersive study of cultures or communities through participants' observation and in-depth interviews. Ethnography involves the researchers immersing themselves in the culture which they want or which they aim to study. Then we have mixed methods research model associated with Cresswell and Clark, 2007, which integrates both qualitative and quantitative approaches to provide a comprehensive understanding of a research problem. Another model is Kotari's research model, 1985. This is about formulating a research problem, conducting literature review, developing hypotheses, outlining methods, interpreting, and reporting. Well, these models, as you may observe, emphasize specific approaches rather than the overall process. Cresswell focuses on combining both methods. Kotari does not delve into philosophy, but is more concerned with practical application of research steps and methods. So, other research models, some are focused on specific research methodologies, grounded theory, or domains, ethnographic studies, some on mixed methods, Cresswell and Clark. Others are more concerned with practical application of research steps and methods, ignoring philosophy, like Kotari. By comparison, Saunders' model provides a layered framework representing the research process step by step from philosophical foundations to data collection and analysis methods. So Saunders integrates multiple methodologies and philosophies, offering flexibility for various research designs that is applicable across different disciplines, education, human sciences, business, etc. The claim of superiority, by the way, I'm not claiming that Saunders' research model is superior. The claim of superiority depends on the context and purpose of the research. And now, let me say that Saunders' research model is not that perfect. It has limitations, of course. So, what are some of the limitations? Number one, linearity. Research is iterative and not linear because it involves repeating steps. Yeah, we start with defining the research problem. We move to converting the research problem to a research question. We move to the literature review, but the insights gained from the literature review might trigger us to go back to the research questions and define them, might trigger us to go back to the operational definitions that we have given to our concepts and refine them. So refining research questions, methods, or interpretations is something normal in research to achieve improvement or deeper understanding. So research is not linear, as the research onion may imply. It is iterative. In an iterative process, each repetition builds on the previous cycle to address gaps, errors, or insights. Research is also cyclical in the sense that when a study comes to an end, it provides a starting point for another study. So research is accumulative, another concept. So research is cyclical in the sense that when a study ends, it paves the way for other studies to start. So research is not a step-by-step process. We move back and forth between layers, between the different layers. Our philosophical assumptions may influence our methodology, but as data is collected and analyzed, the research approach may evolve, requiring the researcher to revisit earlier decisions. Another limitation of the research onion is axiology. The research onion does not explicitly account for the role of values, ethics, or the influence of the researcher's beliefs and biases on the research process. Axiology is an important consideration, especially in qualitative research, where subjectivity and human experiences are central. The researcher's values, beliefs, and biases in qualitative research can influence how they interpret their data. So by recognizing these influences, or by recognizing their influence, researchers can strive for rigidity, for greater objectivity and self-awareness. Another limitation is power dynamics. Well, the framework does not explicitly address issues of power dynamics, such as those between the researcher and participants or in the broader societal context of the research. While philosophy, the outer layer, touches on paradigms like critical realism, which may consider power structures, this is not explicitly linked to practical concerns about power within the research process. So, what does that mean? How questions are framed, who gets to participate, how data is interpreted, relationships also between the researcher and participants. Speaking here about trust, about consent, about exploitation, and broader ethical considerations, whose voices are amplified, whose voices are marginalized. These are also issues that are important in research. And let me say one thing or one word. Students of media studies and researchers doing media studies research are famous with two theories, agenda setting theory and framing theory. Well, these two theories apply also to research in the sense that funding bodies dictate what research topics to be investigated, what research topics to be prioritized. Framing theory, how can it apply to research? These bodies, again, publication houses, funding bodies, that is, they determine how interpretations are to be framed. And if you provide something that is different from their line, this means that your research will most probably not be published. Let me add one thing related to power dynamics. Well, because research agenda is dominated by the West, so this research agenda prioritizes investigating topics which align with the global North interests, sidelining local topics. So power dynamics is not catered for in the research onion. Another limitation is interdisciplinary and mixed paradigms. While the research onion includes multiple research philosophies, it does not explicitly consider how to navigate interdisciplinary research, where researchers may need to integrate conflicting paradigms or approaches. Because different fields have different philosophical assumptions, different methodological traditions, and research practices, so one problem facing the researchers doing interdisciplinary research is how to integrate these differences. So here, flexibility is key when navigating interdisciplinary research to integrate differences and contradictions from diverse fields. Another limitation is reflexivity, a very important concept in research. Reflexivity is about self-awareness. It's also about awareness of the role of the researcher's values in the research. The framework does not emphasize reflexivity, which involves researchers critically reflecting on their positionality, assumptions, and the impact of these factors on the research process. So reflexivity is crucial because it enhances self-awareness, ethics, and rigor in the research process. It complements the framework by ensuring the research process remains transparent, ethical, and rigorous. Another limitation is dissemination of findings. This is not stated in the research onion. The research onion focuses on the design and execution of the research process, but doesn't include steps for communicating findings, an important aspect of research impact, because we don't want only to do research, and we don't want only to publish our research, but we also want our research to be cited. The number of citations, let me emphasize this, the number of citations of a particular study reflects the impact of that study. So more citations means that is the higher the citations, the more the study makes a contribution to scholarly literature. So the research onion emits communication of findings, which is essential for ensuring that research has an impact. Without addressing this, the model leaves a gap in ensuring that well-designed research effectively informs practice, policy, and or further studies. Now we move to Moroccan research in light of the research onion. Well, Moroccan researchers employ diverse strategies outlined in the research onion. There are surveys, there are experiments. These are common in different fields: business, economics, and education studies. There are also ethical committees established in universities and research centers to oversee ethical compliance. There are efforts to internationalize Moroccan research, particularly through collaborations and training. These efforts are increasing alignment with globally recognized frameworks like the research onion. However, the extent of adherence varies based on discipline, resources, and training. Well, Moroccan universities often adopt international research frameworks, including the research onion. Moroccan postgraduate students are typically introduced to research methodologies, aligning their work with structured approaches like the research onion. There is a mix of quantitative and qualitative methodologies, with the growing trend of mixed method research, thereby aligning with the research onion's methodological choice layer. But as I said, this varies based on discipline. Moroccan research opportunities. Well, Moroccan research is in a positive state of development, with growing efforts to improve infrastructure, funding, and international collaboration. There's an increasing recognition of the importance of research in Morocco and innovation for the country's development. There are increasing partnerships. Partnerships are being fostered with international universities like Erasmus. There are partnerships with international universities. For example, our own university is involved now in a partnership with different universities: Ukraine, Germany, Turkey, the US. We are doing research projects together, and we are also involved in online teaching with our partners in these countries. So Moroccan researchers are being increasingly connected to global research trends. This, in fact, provides or increases visibility of Moroccan research. There are, however, challenges. Limited research funding. So funding is increasing, but it's still not that is paramount, especially outside key national priorities. Infrastructure and limited resources. Access to state-of-the-art research facilities and tools is still limited. There's also the problem of brain drain. Some Morocco's best researchers seek opportunities abroad for better funding, resources, and career advancements. And research methodology and training. There are disparities in research training across universities, with some institutions providing more structured and rigorous methodologies than others. In conclusion, the research onion provides a structured framework for developing research methodology, guiding researchers through layers of decisions, from philosophical assumptions to data collection techniques. The research onion emphasizes alignment between a study's philosophy, approach, strategy, and methods to ensure methodological coherence, consistency, rigor, and alignment. However, while it is a robust tool for structuring research design, it remains a guide rather than a one-size-fits-all solution, meaning that we need to complement it with additional frameworks and ethical demands. Sorry. Well, this is it. Now, references and further reading. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Benzehaf, for this insightful presentation. This lecture examined the process of research design framed within the metaphor of peeling the research onion. It explores each layer of research methodology from philosophical paradigms and methodological choices to strategies, time horizons, and data collection techniques. For sure, participants and followers got a comprehensive understanding of how these layers interconnect. Researchers can be aware more of coherence and validity of their research projects. Practical examples from diverse disciplines illustrated how to make logical decisions and to provide a logical research design. By the end of the lecture, Professor Benzehaf provided several challenges and limitations of the model. The followers have been interacting within the chat, the live chat box, and have raised several questions. But I think the limitations and challenges sections provided several answers to many questions that were in the chat. Let's start by a question that was raised by Fatima Fulki, who have been wondering about how methodological consistency contributes to academic research.
Thank you. Well, it contributes to academic research by making it valid and reliable, by increasing its rigor. And it also ensures publication of your study. So methodological fit is a must in research. Methodological misfit makes your research weak. And that is also influences its possibility of being published. So if you want to do rigorous research, you should observe methodological fit, starting from philosophical assumptions until data collection tools. This increases the reliability and the validity and the rigor of the study.
Thank you, Professor. Let's move to a second question from Fatima Fulki again. She says, does the mixed method lead to a better research?
No, sorry. No, it's the nature of the question, the nature of the topic, the nature of the problem that lends itself either to the quantitative approach, to the qualitative approach, or to a blend of the two. So we cannot say that let me also add that one of the biggest advantages of mixed methods is the possibility of cross-checking. Because cross-checking, it means validating findings, validating quantitative findings qualitatively or the other way around. So it has this advantage of triangulation, but we cannot say that it is superior because there are studies that lend themselves only to one approach.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Professor. Let's move to another question, which is what tools or resources do you recommend for researchers looking to develop a critical methodology and improve their research design?
Well, the piece of advice that I can give here is download rigorous studies that are published in rigid journals and learn from them. This is what I advise my students. Start with replicating these studies. What does replicate mean? It means redoing the study that has been done in an international context can be done in a local context, in a national context. So this way we can, by the way, we cannot, when we say replicate the study, it doesn't mean repeat the whole study. You can take just one aspect of it, or you can take different aspects. So start, please, with replicating rigorous studies, learn from them. When you want to write your methodology, do a literature review. Do the literature review, because the literature review will provide you with insights into your methodology. The literature review will also help you come up with operational definitions of your concepts. We have two different definitions. We have conceptual definitions, those provided by the dictionary, and operational definitions, those which lend themselves to measurability. Those which, that is, operational definitions are definitions that can help us measure the term. We have the starting point should always be the literature review. The literature review, and it's the literature review of studies that are rigid. Don't go to predatory journals, please. Go to rigid journals, Scopus indexed journals. Well, this is it. This is my piece of advice.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. It seems that Idrisi Azami, Dr. Idrisi Azami, have right. Yes, yeah. He has a question. He says, "What are the considerations for selecting research choices and combining methods? The best ones according to your experience, especially regarding qualitative research."
Qualitative?
Yes.
Can you repeat the last word, please? The last two words.
Qualitative research.
Qualitative research. Well, look, there's not a method that can be described as best. And I implied this, and I said it many times. It's also implied in the research onion. So it's the nature of your research question that suggests which approach to adopt. That suggests also which data collection technique to use. Is it interviews? Is it focus group discussion? Is it observation? Is it a blend of 2 or 3 approaches? Qualitative research, one of the biggest advantages of qualitative research is that it gives voice to the participants, is that it makes the description thick, because you not only describe the words said or expressed by the participants, but also the context, the cultural references, the tone, the body language. So which data collection technique will help me make my qualitative research rigid? So there is not one best method. There is not one answer to this question.
Yeah, indeed. As you said during the lecture, researchers' perceptions shape their research practices.
Good.
So,
yes.
Therefore, now and in this age where there are researchers who are using artificial intelligence, we can say that researchers' use of artificial intelligence shapes their research findings or objectives. So, what do you think about this interconnection between research and artificial intelligence use these days?
Look, Saunders developed the research onion in 2000 and kept updating it, and the last update is in 2023. In the latest model, Saunders and colleagues integrated technology. And I was watching one of his YouTube videos in which he spoke about something called Gen AI. He explained how we can use artificial intelligence to generate topics, to generate research questions. So artificial intelligence is a plus, it's a merit. So why not use it? We should only not plagiarize, and when we do something, we should acknowledge it. So, the other idea, you said that our philosophical assumptions shape our research. But this is true, but it's only partly true because the nature of the question also, the nature of the topic has also a role to play there. So the nature of the research question might dictate to us that we move from our philosophical position to another approach. So it's a combination or it's an interaction between our philosophical assumptions and the nature of the research problem.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Idrisi Azami says, my question is about combining methods. What is the most appropriate way of doing that?
As I said, I repeat, there is not one method that is appropriate. It depends on the nature of the problem. And there are, we have sequential explanatory and sequential exploratory. One starts with the quantitative phase and moves to the qualitative phase to explain the data that was quantitatively obtained. The other reverses the order. So it depends on the, for example, if the topic is new, you might start with exploring the topic and then move into validating the findings or testing the findings or looking for trends, patterns. So it depends again on the nature of the topic.
Okay, thank you. Here is the last question. What role does interdisciplinary collaboration play in enhancing the research design?
Well, it's very important, in fact, because it enables us to look at or to investigate a topic from different perspectives. So collaboration between researchers from different fields is very important. It's very important because it enables you to, it enables your approach to be comprehensive and not to be single-sided, if you like, or one-sided. So it's interesting. And there is just one challenge because different disciplines have different traditions. So how to integrate those differences, sometimes contradictions. We need to be flexible here and we need to navigate these differences and contradictions so that we give research that is rich, that is rigid, and that really contributes to scholarly literature and scholarly knowledge.
Thank you, Dr. Benzehaf, for your thought-provoking lecture. Your contribution have sparked valuable discussions and will have a lasting impact on our work and on the researchers' work. On behalf of all the attendees, I would like to express our profound appreciation for this insightful and rational lecture. Before we conclude the lecture, any final words, Dr. Benzehaf?
Thank you very much. The pleasure was mine. I have only one word to say. I hope that the audience have found something useful in my lecture and that they have gained some insight. It was my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Bitlisaniyat, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Benzehaf. Thank you all for joining us today for this enlightening lecture on Peel and the Research Onion. Special thanks to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Bouchaib Benzehaf, for sharing his expertise and valuable insights on this valuable topic. Your contributions have significantly enhanced our understanding of research design. I would also like to extend my gratitude to everyone involved in organizing this event, particularly the Academy's leadership and our technical team for their absolute support. To our audience, your engagements and insightful questions and discussions in the chat truly enriched this session. We encourage you to continue the discussion and to explore the themes presented today and to use some of these great ideas. I think that you need to watch this this lecture. You can find the lecture on YouTube to get more ideas and to benefit from all those great ideas that Dr. Benzehaf shared with us. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next session. It will be a time, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you, Dr.
Inshallah. The pleasure is mine. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.